مدینہ اینڈ ہم جیسے ہی ہم احد سے نکلیں گے تو ایک نہر آتی ہے جس کا نام ہے العقیق, ویلی العقیق. It goes so around the Medina all the way to the mountain of Eir, جہاں پر ہم جو ہے وہ احرام باندھیں گے. تو اس وجہ سے اس ویلی نے اور اس نہر نے پورے مدینے کے راستے بند کیے ہوئے تھے. ایک ہی راستہ تھا مدینہ منورہ میں داخل ہونے کے لیے جو بالکل یہاں سے سیدھا ہے اس جگہ سے. سو مکہ کے جو لوگ ہیں وہ اس سائڈ میں آئے اور احد پہلی جگہ ہے جہاں وہ مل سکتے ہیں, کیونکہ اس کے بعد راستہ سب آگے بند ہے. تو رسول کریم صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم احد میں یہاں پہنچ گئے اور یہاں پر 6 مسجدیں ہیں چھوٹی چھوٹی اس مسجد کے علاوہ. تو اللہ کے نبی صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم وہ جو سامنے بڑی مسجد نظر آ رہی جس کا مینار ہے وہاں آپ جا کر آپ نے قیام کیا اور صحابہ کرام رضوان اللہ علیہ مجمعین سب ان کے ساتھ تھے. جب وہ لوگ قریب آ گئے اور جو ہے باقاعدہ لڑائی شروع ہونے کا وقت آیا تو نبی پاک صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم جو ہے اس میدان کو آپ نے آنکھوں پائی کر لیا اور آپ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے پیچھے پہاڑ تھا تو واز ویری سیف, اور ادھر مدینہ ہے تو وہ ادھر تو آ نہیں سکتے, پیچھے پہاڑ تھا. اس ماؤنٹن کے اوپر آپ نے صحابہ کرام کی ایک تعداد کو کھڑا کر دیا. نبی پاک صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے صحابہ کرام کو یہ کہا کہ ہم جنگ کریں گے, تم ہمیں واچ کرنا پیچھے سے, اور ہم جو ہے ہار جائیں یا جیت جائیں یا ہمارے جو ہے ہمیں جو ہے جانور آ کر نوچنے لگے, تم نے نیچے نہیں اترنا جب تک میں تمہیں آرڈر نہ کروں. تو وہ صحابہ جو ہیں وہ تیر انداز صحابہ تھے, تو وہ ماؤنٹن کے اوپر کھڑے رہے. امیزنگلی وہاں جہاں درخت آپ کو نظر آ رہے ہیں یہ ساری جگہ, یہ جہاں پر یہ تصویریں نظر آ رہی ہیں یہ ساری جگہ نیچے ہے کافی. پیچھے جو ہے وہ خالد بن ولید کچھ لوگ لے کے کھڑے ہوئے.
Maulana is mentioning that as you can see that there is a Mount Uhud just ahead of us over there, right? And around over here there is the valley of Aqib where it was surrounded with the water from all the sides. And on our right hand side this is where the Medina. So the enemy could only have penetrated into the city of Medina from that side. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as you can see those masjid over there, the minara, he was camped over there. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum that 50 of them to be placed on this mountain where we are standing right now, right? Because the enemy can come from there, right? So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as far as the Medina is concerned, from this side is safe, and we will fight over here. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the 50 archers who he placed over here, and he said, regardless of what is the outcome of the battlefield over here, you are to remain over here on this mountain. Even if the animal comes and they start eating it, still you do not come down from that. This was how firm the instruction of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, right? So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was over there where you can see the masjid. This was the battlefield, the 50 archers placed where we are standing over here. And Khalid ibn Walid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, before he accepted Islam, where you can see the palm trees over there, that was a little bit of lower area, and he was standing over there with some of the army men from the place. Okay, so this was the scene so far.
Khalid ibn Walid has all the people with horses and they were not participating in the actual battlefield at that time. Oh, sorry. Khalid ibn Walid جو ہے وہ گھوڑوں پر تھے اور وہ شریک نہیں ہوئے تھے لڑائی کے اندر. تو جیسے ہی جو ہے مشرکین جو ہے بھاگ اٹھے یہاں سے اور وہ جو ہے لڑائی میں ہار گئے, تو سارے صحابہ اور سب نے اللہ اکبر اور تکبیر.
چلو سر
پہاڑی پہ کھڑے تھے وہ ان میں سے میجورٹی کی تعداد نیچے چلی گئی. جو ان کا امیر تھا وہ یہ کہتا رہا کہ نبی پاک نے نیچے جانے سے روکا ہے, لیکن وہ چل خوشی کے اندر جو ہے وہ صبر نہیں ہوا اور وہ نیچے چلے گئے. خالد ابن ولید وہاں دیکھ رہے تھے. خالد ابن ولید اسی ویلی کے اندر پیچھے سے آئے, اس سائڈ سے پیچھے سے آئے اور انہوں نے آ کر ویلی کے اندر سے آئے اور پیچھے سے حملہ کر دیا. جب حملہ کیا تو صحابہ کرام تو غنیمتیں اکٹھی کر رہے تھے, کسی کے پاس تلوار نہیں تھی, کسی کے پاس کچھ نہیں تھا. they were not ready اور سارے خوشی منا رہے تھے. تو اس نے حملہ کیا اور حملہ اتنا کوئک تھا کہ कि उसने जो है काफ़ी बड़ा डैमेज किया, लेकिन चूँकि थोड़े लोग थे और ज़्यादा देर नहीं रुक सकते थे तो डैमेज करके वो भाग गए। और अल्लाह के नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम और सहाबा कराम जो है वो पहाड़ पे चले गए, उस तरफ चले गए पीछे। और फिर जब चले गए और उसने कहा कि वहाँ हमें कोई नज़र नहीं आ रहा, अबू सुफियान और हिंद को लेकर फिर वो वापस आए कुछ लोग, और उन्होंने आकर नबी पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को मेक श्योर करने की कोशिश की कि नबी पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम सुना है कि दुनिया से जा चुके हैं, वो भी यहाँ जो है वो शहीद हो गए हैं। तो जब उसको पता चला, लॉन्ग स्टोरी है, जिसमें उसने कहा कि मोहम्मद जिंदा है कि नहीं, तो जवाब नहीं है। अल्लाह के नबी ने कहा जवाब नहीं दो। फिर उसने कहा अबू बकर जिंदा है कि नहीं, अल्लाह के नबी ने कहा जवाब नहीं दो। फिर उसने कहा कि उमर जिंदा है और नाम बोले काफ़ी। तो फिर उसने कहा ओ अल हुबल, हुबल एक ऐसा बुत है मक्के वालों का था जिस बुत से वो लड़ाई जीतते थे या वो जंगों का बुत था। तो उसने ओ अल हुबल कहा तो अबू बकर सिद्दीक रज़ी अल्लाह ताला ने अल्लाह अकबर कहा और कहा कि मैं अबू बकर हूँ, मैं जिंदा हूँ, मोहम्मद जिंदा है। क्या उसने नाम लिए सारे सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, तो उन पर इतना खौफ तारी हुआ वो भाग गए। तो जीती हुई जंग हार में बदल गई, इसलिए कि वो सहाबा किराम जो थे जिनको अल्लाह के नबी की इंस्ट्रक्शन ये थी कि आपने नीचे नहीं उतरना, उनसे ये भूल हो गई। हमें सुन्नत पर अमल करना चाहिए, अल्लाह के नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की एडवाइस को बहुत सीरियस लेना चाहिए। अल्लाह ताला से दुआ है अल्लाह अमल कीजिए।
So we continue that we were mentioning that Khalid ibn Walid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, we say radiyallahu ta'ala because he obviously later accepted Islam after the Fath al-Makkah. So Khalid ibn Walid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he was still over there with some of his army men on the horses. And when he saw that the Muslims were now over here, the battle was going on, and the 50 archers who were placed over here, when they saw the Muslim having the upper hand, so those Muslims, they ran down. And they said, they thought to themselves that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's instructions was probably until the fight was going on. So as the battle were now, the Muslims were winning and all the kuffar, they were retreating, they were going back. So these archers, they left their place. Khalid ibn Walid radiyallahu ta'ala took this opportunity and he came behind, from that valley, behind the mountain, and he attacked those Muslims, few of them who were remained over here. And in this, he created the chaos amongst the Muslims. That those Muslims who were supposed to guard the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala fighting in the battlefield on the mountain top from the enemy, now they were all became shaheed. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself now took refuge in that mountain, right? After that, Khalid ibn Walid went there and he told them that we took care of the Muslims, they no longer remain. So Abu Sufyan radiyallahu ta'ala, who again later on he became a Muslim, then he came in order to evaluate the situation of the battlefield. And then when he came, he didn't see anybody, so he started making announcement. Where is Muhammad? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the instruction that do not say anything. Then he said, where is Abu Bakr? Where is Umar? So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam again gave the instruction to remain silent. When he said, Ulu Hubul, Hubul was the idol through whom the kuffar used to seek special help at the time of battlefield. So when he said that, Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu recited Allahu Akbar, Allah is the great, and then he mentioned that we are all alive. And then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Sufyan, then afterwards, once he kind of saw this, they retreated back. So Maulana was mentioning at the end that this was the result, that the Muslims who were winning initially, the battle was already wrapped up, and the Muslims, they started taking all the booties and the spoils of war just because of the mistake of disobedience of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That was not intentional as well, it was a judgmental mistake. Because of that, the Muslims, they suffered such defeat and they suffered such loss of the lives of the great Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala. So therefore we learn from this a very important lesson, that we should never disobey our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inshallah.
So those two Muftiyan Karam has given us a very good feeling of the Battle of Uhud. I'm going to mention one incident.
Is there any place we can see where something is huge?
Okay, I'll show you. So I'm going to tell you one incident that took place at the tail end of this battle, when Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid radiyallahu ta'ala came from the back, and from this masjid they made a turn and actually attacked the Muslim where this parking lot area is. The Muslims were scattered all over the place. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was left with 8 to 10 Sahaba Ikram who circled around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and start taking every hit on their backs and on their fronts and on their hands. Sayyidina Abu Dujana radiallahu ta'ala anhu was one of the Sahabi. And what he did was every arrow that came towards Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took it on his back. So by the time when he fell down to the ground, his back looked like the back of a kharpush, you know, the porcupine. This is what he looked like. Every single Sahabi who was circling on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was badly injured. Other Sahabis are scattered all over the place here. So Kuffar saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam circle within 8 to 10 very badly injured Sahaba, and they said, let's attack Muhammad and kill Muhammad right now, and everything is going to be over. So they concentrated on that area where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was with their 8 or 10 Sahabas. When the Kuffars made the heavy attack on that area, Sayyidina Mus'ab bin Umayr radiallahu ta'ala, whose grave you saw with Sayyidina Hamza over there, he was known as the Prince of Mecca. The cloth that he wore became a fashion. The perfume that he put on became a fashion. His mother was so rich, and when he said La ilaha illallah, his mother said, I will take you out from every single dollar that I have or money that I have. And he said, I have joined Muhammad. So he was in this battle, and he was very smart, very handsome, tall, and he looked a lot like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was wearing a black amama, black turban. So when he saw the concentration of kuffar attacking Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he raised his alam. He had a black alam in his head, and he said, Muhammadur Rasulullah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. So that he wanted the enemy's attention from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam towards him. So they all thought he is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they attacked him and they killed him. But his attempt saved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came after the battle and they started looking for the bodies of his Sahaba Ikram, he saw Sayyidina Mus'ab bin Umayr radiallahu ta'ala's body, and he was upside down, his face was on the ground. Allah Rasul turned him and he cried, and he said he was the Prince of Mecca. And this is how Sahaba Ikram Ridwanullahi ta'ala gave their lives for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and for Islam. This gouge right there is where Mufti Sahab said, this is the gouge where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam climbed with the rest of the Sahaba Ikram and took refuge of the height. That is the gouge. Another one quick story I'll tell you and then we'll leave. There is a Sahabi, his name was Sayyidina Sa'ad bin Rabi radiallahu ta'ala. We all talk about how we love Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and how much we obey Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'll tell you a story of Sa'ad bin Rabi radiallahu ta'ala, and you will see how he obeyed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the initial Ansari who took bayt on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam hand and bayt Uqba. He was so badly injured, and he was somewhere in this mountain, and he was about to die, and his back was he was taking a support to the stone, and he was taking his last breath. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not find Sa'ad, he told Sahabis to go find my Sa'ad, and Sahabis went from here and there and start screaming Sa'ad, Sa'ad, and he would not answer because he wanted to spend his last breath in remembrance of Allah. But then one Sahabi said, Sa'ad, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is asking for you. And with this condition, where he couldn't even say his own name, he said, Labbaik, I'm here. And when the Sahabi reached there, he said, Sa'ad, you are badly injured. You're about to die. Is there anything that you want to tell to your children so I can take this message to your children? And Sa'ad said, yes, I have a message I have a message, but this is not for the children. He said, I have a message for Ansar. And he said, if you have as much life in your body that you can blink your eyes, protect Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Sayyidina Abu Dujana radiallahu ta'ala, when he took all these arrows in his back, he came to Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam after the battle, and he fell in front of him, and he said, Rasulullah, I apologize. Allah's Rasul said, what are you apologizing for? And he said that we could not do our part. Here's the man who has more than 60 arrows in his back, and he said, Ya Rasulullah, we did not do our part. So think about, after you leave this Uhud, think about, did we do our part or not? Did we obey Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Okay, before